I recently did a live where we explore a few instances where Meghan was being a bit, bossy with Harry. But what's interesting is that not all of these instances were about pushing Gingerbread around. Do you have what it takes to tell them apart? Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Before we begin, you might already know that I'm on my second anniversary as a YouTuber, and to celebrate it, you can get my limited edition merch. Yeah, that's a mug with your favorite tagline that you most probably repeated along with me on the introduction. Maybe you're a coffee or tea person or would like to put pencils and pens on it, or you just want to brag that you managed to get one with the link on the description of this video before they disappear from existence. Because they will be available only until March 27, so I suggest that you act faster than Meghan's blinking. But this time we're not going to talk about Meghan's facial expressions, but instead focus on her general body language. Like this official engagement where Harry had to sign some kind of book, and he had that usual attitude of not knowing if he left his stove on. You'll notice that Meghan is the first one to rush into the room, even if it's Harry the one who has to give his signature. And in a blink and you'll miss detail, you can see the hand of the man on the door, inviting Harry to go inside. That's the same signal that the woman in red does, like, move on man, we don't have all day for you. And Harry has so many doubts, including that hand on his belly, that he does all the time. That is a defensive gesture since he's covering his abdomen, and he even turns around to check on Meghan when the woman is gesturing. Those are signals that Harry sometimes takes too much time to act, being really insecure, looking for not Meg's approval. But the main detail is Meghan's gesture that is not only extending her arm to him, but actually touching him like he should move it, that he should get this done. Well, the fact that Meghan entered the room first and how hesitant it's Harry tells a lot about their personalities. Maybe she's just really impatient. You know, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets now. You might have missed that Harry does two more gestures of being nervous and insecure when he wipes the sweat off his hand using his trousers and then does that classic ring twisting. But at least he was moving, having activity, doing something. Very different from this other scenario when Meghan is giving some sort of a speech and Harry is, well, trying to be a wallflower. Just the colors that they are wearing at that moment tell you a lot about their different personalities and general disposition. Meghan was wearing red, the color of power and passion, while Harry was almost all black, something that we usually wear to not attract much attention to ourselves. And well, Harry's facial expression, even with such a low resolution video, shows how happy he was to interact with the public. And that's not mentioning his body language with his hands on his back. So that's why Meghan was using this gesture, palm up, to make a signal for him to go and pull the curtains. Signaling with your palm up, with your fingers relaxed, is usually the right way to go because that's a non-threatening gesture. That's something that you can even do with strangers and that will be okay. But we already know that patience is not one of Meghan's strong points, so she signals yet again, but this time with a fist, pointing with her index finger. That is a bossy gesture, a commanding signal, and people tend to underestimate the power of the index finger. But how would you feel if I point at you like Uncle Sam? Well, when someone becomes the target of an index finger, they are going to feel pressure. That's normal. Not to mention when someone uses their finger to tap directly on your chest. It's like that Billions episode when Bobby Axelrod and Dollar Bill are having that fake argument. There's a heavy use of the index finger to reinforce that feeling of aggression, and it works wonders on that scene. So it's a completely different feeling when someone invites you to do something with their palm up, fingers relaxed, than do it with their fist, index finger extended. But in this case, what's really strange is the follow-up. Meghan's expressions to the public is a creepy grin. Yeah, if I saw it, you will see it too. It's like she's trying to joke with the audience regarding Harry's reaction or non-reaction. But I don't know why does she do that. I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. Now, there was this other video where Meghan and Harry were leaving an event and they were handed a purse and a hat. It might look at first sight that it's Meghan's hand that's driving Harry to the action, in this case getting the hat, but when you look closely in slow motion, Harry began to move before Meghan touched him. So this is the kind of moments where we can give Meghan a pass, since the order of gesture and reaction tells us that this is just a public display of affection, or PDA. And it's one that's very common because, in fact, William and Catherine do it every now and then. Now, this one was really baffling and left us a little confused on the live. Meghan signals Harry to have a seat, but how can Harry sit at the table first before Meghan? Yeah, I understand certain protocol rules, but in my opinion, as a man, I will never sit before my partner under any circumstances. Even so, their exchange is really weird and only looks like they hadn't the slightest idea of what to do at that moment. Especially when we realize that Meghan was having doubts of going first. That's not very common. The following two clips are the most important because they signal body language clues that are very easy to miss, but we have the benefit of slow motion to spot what really happened with Meghan and Harry's intentions. In this one, they are beginning to talk with a group, and first of all, you notice the difference in stance with their feet. Meghan's feet are separated almost at shoulder width, which is a power stance, and at the same time, Harry has his ankles together, which is an insecure posture on a man. But, well, Harry decides to take a step forward to greet the rest of the people, but at the same time Meghan puts her hand on his shoulder and with a swift movement signals that she will be going first. It's a very subtle gesture, but you can see how her hand is on Harry's back and then it goes directly over his shoulder. It's like she wanted to disguise her intentions with that hand on his back to finally use the hand over the shoulder to command him into the idea that she was going first. Harry steps aside and even does like a courtesy to Meghan. Again, we have the benefit of slow motion, so you can practice this to polish your own skills. But the final clip says it all. It's extremely short, it's really low quality, you can barely make out their body shapes, but when you see it looped enough times, you immediately notice that Harry was going to greet the man first. Then Meghan puts her arm over his belly in an obvious signal that he should stop, and then she goes first to greet the man. Harry doesn't have other option than just tap her on her arm, like saying, oh well, you go ahead first. These interactions tell us many things. First, confirming Meghan's dominant personality and attitude, not to mention her lack of patience in many circumstances. But also that they have a severe lack of synchronization between them. When Harry finally decides to step forward and greet people or enter rooms where he has to sign books or do something expected from him, Meghan either interrupts or he requests her signal to proceed. I'm sure you'll be able to spot this kind of clues in your daily life very soon. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.